Ahem. Ahem. Hello. Hi. It is I, the one true king of knowing it all. Me, Rocket. Hi. Hello, it's me. Yes, I know. Obviously, it's me because, I'm super world famous, especially with this glorious voice and everything else. I'm the absolute best in the world at everything. At all things. At only all things. Everything once over again. And I am here to predict where Muse are going with this album, and where it is going indeed is going to be, boy, we're in for a journey. We're in for a ride. We're in for a fun time. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the absolute fucking best. You want to know why? Well, we'll find out why over the next 72 hours while I sit here and do a deep dive on everything we've got across the track list. So, where did we get the track list for anyone that has not been following up with everything? Let's quickly pixeling our way over. Here we go. Right, so you go to won'tstanddown.muse.mu, the place that we had for the single release. You just go there, right click anywhere, inspect your elements, go to the console, and just you'll have all this open, you'll have all the info, all the debugs and all that. So just remove all that and just go with the logs. Just go with the logs, and you'll see here that there is something here. ... Right here. So click on that. Then you'll get your console log with the link here for what was put in that people found last week. So copy clipboard. Hope that didn't copy the whole thing. It did not. No. Then you go in, and then we've got our lovely Jason. We call it Jason because we always press X to Jason. Never forget that. And we had, like last week. Now we had. Or was it last? Yeah, it was last week, wasn't it? We had anagrams all weekend until today, whenever they changed them to the actual song title name. So we've got Will of the People, Compliance, Liberation, Won't Stand Down, Ghosts. How can I move on? You make me feel like it's Halloween. You make me feel like it's Halloween. You make me feel like it's Halloween. Killer Be Killed. That's definitely more of a Muse thing. We're definitely better at that now. We're closer to where we were. Verona. Euphoria, my favorite Eurovision winning song of the past. God, is that even over a decade now? I don't remember what year that was. And the true prophecy for our future selves. I'm doing predictions on where we're going with Muse, and Muse did predictions themselves because we are fucking fucked. We are. Muse have done it. Matt Bellamy has done it. He has narrowed where we are in the world down to a single song title. How that man did it, I will never know. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Muse have broken me. It was a decade this year. It was a decade this year since Euphoria. That was 2012. That was even before I got to the Roundhouse. Wow, that's ridiculous. That's insane. Thank you for that information, Laws. As the Eurovision savant. What did you fucking call me? You're a Baku. Right. You make me feel like it's Halloween. You make me feel like it's Halloween. There's a lot to talk about with all this. There really is. So there's only one place to really do it. It's the place where all true professionals do their shit. The only place where everything goes to joy. Microsoft WordPad. It's beautiful. I know. I really did a lot of work putting this all together. It's a wonderful time. You know, this is a very professional setup I have here on my channel, and you will know that it is very important to me that it looks great, and this looks absolutely fantastic. Looks amazing. I should have probably done some clip art or something, but alas, I did not. We are here with WordPad to talk about Will of the People. Release date is probably going to be May or June. So whenever the first single came out in January, it was basically going to be like we're on that timeline now of 6 to 8 weeks after that for single 2, which is where we're at. Possibly 9 weeks now. I forget how long it's been. But yeah, we're probably then looking at a May or June release, I'd say, for Will of the People as an album. The probably going to end up in a similar time frame to when Night's released. I think it's going to be out first week of June is my own prediction on that, but like anywhere May and June it could be. Like it's hard to tell with the way modern music releases shit. So yeah, summer release right before the festivals really kick off that they're doing, and whether we'll get like a small club tour before that is something to be left guessing with. It's outside my musical knowledge. I don't know Matt Bellamy. I know that's a shock to some people, but I don't know Matt Bellamy. I've not talked to him. I've not asked him if he's doing any gigs in May or April or like next week. We are tomorrow 7 years from the start of the Psycho tour that was announced 4 days before that started. So who knows? Maybe on Thursday with the new song, they'll be like, "Oh hey, by the way, tickets are on sale now for the Psycho tour starting next Monday." It could happen. It could absolutely happen. We could be there. We could absolutely be there. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. Well, we'll get on to my direct line to Matt Bellamy in a second, in a bit, Laws, once we get to song number 2. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. But now we go to track number 1 here. The title track, Will of the People. Because it's the will of the people. It's a will and it's of the people. Because it's Will of the People. Fire at Will would have been a fun name that they could have done. That would have been cool, I think, just because I would like to imagine they fire someone called Will out of a cannon over the crowd, just to really reach the apex of their musical dramatism in gigs. You know, he'd be wearing a helmet, so he'd be fine. You know, health and safety and all that. But you know, that's what we need from Muse. Will of the People, well, we know fuck all about it right now, other than seemingly the vocal hook that pretty much follows on with Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson, and reminds me a lot of Sisters of Mercy stuff as well. So where Muse go with that, who the fuck knows? I've seen it suggested on Reddit that like someone was like, "Oh, I bet Will of the People is just going to be like an intro to the album. Compliance is the first song," and I could see it. So we could end up with like just 9 songs. 9 songs that includes one of them being "You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween," but we'll get to that later. But you know, Will of the People could be just an intro. I can see it. Like maybe it'd be like an extended instrumental. Maybe they'll do like a lot of the stuff like what Ghost does. Or just, you know, like I guess Muse have done it before, obviously, and we could see something like it. We could see it just be like the chant of Will of the People growing from that supposed seeming cover art reveal for the album last week, with the pyramid, with like the sandy pyramid heads and all that. Could be looking at that. It could be cool. And like maybe a guitar riff underneath that. I know people have been speculating that the guitar riff from the Unsustainable, the post-Unsustainable stuff that's been doing the rounds from 2019, people have been speculating that will be the song or the riff involved. That could be it as we go into Compliance, and yeah, that's it. Either way, it's either going to be a riff or it's going to be another uprising style chant along for the Will of the People thing, already invoking the kind of American American right stuff. I would imagine what's chanting will of the people, but we'll see where they go with this. I have a few comments to make on that, especially after seeing the track lists today, which are half jokes, half not, over where I think things might be going with the album. I know that I had, whenever Loz in chat had mentioned to me last week now about Matt with the alt-right style talk in the Instagram post, where I mean, in general, that is that is typical Muse, and that it doesn't even follow alt-right stuff. It's just generic babble about like, just, you know, the usual Muse shit of like the unknown forces and having to comply and they will not control us and all the other shit that they do that can be co-opted by whatever cause you want, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. You know, it's whatever. And I imagine that's the way Muse is going to go with this as usual, because that's what Matt knows. That's how he writes. That's all Matthew Bellamy does, pretty much. It is just that over and over and over and over again, where he'll just regurgitates the same old fucking shite about that unknown entity and everything else. So, you know, we'll see where that goes. Well, that is probably going to be one of the people then. It's probably just going to be that. So yeah, that's that. It's going to be a riff, it's going to be catchy, or it's just going to be an intro. Great, wonderful. I know these predictions are amazing, and I'm going really deep on them. It's fantastic, as I'm not just wasting my evening just to try and spend some time doing something to distract from the world. Definitely not. Compliance, then! The song that is out on Thursday. I mean, where do we start here? I feel that we should start with My Bat Mallet. So My Bat Mallet ended up liking one of my tweets while I was streaming Automobilista. Yeah, was it yesterday? Time? I don't know time anymore. I do not know time at all. But yeah, so I was one of like the 18 tweets I think that they liked somewhere down here. I had another friend that was liked in. Yeah, there I am. Yeah, it's time, lads. It is time indeed. So yeah, one of the 18 tweets that I got liked with, and now we are in a situation where I was looking up to see what was going on with this account. Now, obviously, My Bat Mallet is an anagram for Matt Bellamy. The account was created, I think, this month. It was created this month. It only follows one account, and that would be the Muse account. And every tweet involved Muse and anagram that it liked, and that was pretty much it. And then it just has 15 tweets of what you would consider basic guesswork, like what I would even try and do at oh god, these have had a few likes since I was like the first account to notice this account yesterday, and obviously there was nothing there. And now, yeah, I know it's hit like Reddit and Facebook groups and all that. People are watching, people are waiting. But yeah, like I feel right. Okay, so I was already accused of putting this account together. Wasn't me. I feel I would try and be a bit funnier with the lyrics if it was me, similar to what I tried to do with Survival whenever I tried to predict the Survival lyrics the morning off the reveal of the Olympics thing back then. But yeah, so you've got Heal My Mind, Leave No Trace. They can't find our secret place. Try to resist in silence. They just need our hashtag compliance. I hope if this is Matt Bellamy that he does fucking sing hashtag as well. I want it to be like hashtag compliance as the song, and I need him to sing hashtag. Is this the album where he finally mentions hashtag? Possibly, you know, with the way the world is, it could definitely be. When you get it, take the chance to erase your existence. Take the chance to erase your existence. Locked my mind carelessly and threw away the key. Had to throw away what was part of me. I mean, I would say that that's something I'd write for like a poem for school whenever I was like 10. So it could very well be a Matt Bellamy lyric in that case. You know, it could definitely be right there being what Matt does. You know, that could absolutely be him. But these are some Dog lyrics, absolute dog. Forgot what. Well, hold on. Let me read this properly again. Locked my man carelessly and threw away the key. Had to throw away what was part of me. Forgot what I was supposed to be. Compliant is the only thing that I will ever be. Try to resist the silence. They just need our compliance. They've erased your existence. Comply. And then yeah, we go through with the try to when you get it, take the chance the chance to erase your existence. Oh, hold on, let's have a look at the comments that we have here now. You've got me with my Bat Mallet from the band Zoom. 2001 teaches to cheat until I cover up. 2022. Polite is the only thing I will ever be. Yeah, no. Again, like, it could easily be Matt in the sense of like the lyrics are cringe enough to be like a basic Matt, like, fill in the blanks Muse thing. I was hoping for something better from Won't Stand Down, from how good I find the lyrics to be in that song compared to the average Muse fighting resistance song. But yeah, I figured I had to mention this just because it is there, and if this ends up actually being Matt, well. The thing is as well, right? So if you go and do the forget your password while trying to sign into this account and put down mybatmallet@gmail.com as the address for trying to send it to, like, if you whenever it asks you to like mention the address linked to the account to prove that you own it or whatever, like, it is just mybatmallet@gmail.com. So yeah, it feels like the very basic stuff, and I would think that like Muse would at least do something more interesting, like the this thing. Like, this was pretty cool with the anagrams and all that. I think creating a Twitter account that is just an anagram of Matt Bellamy's name, using that exact same anagram on a Gmail account, is nothing too exciting, and the lyrics or whatever. So, I don't know how many people are actually taking it seriously. They're like, it's fun. Like, if it was Matt, like, that's funny. That is funny. I hope it's not just because of the lyrics. But if Thursday 3 p.m. comes and I end up hearing, actually, will it be earlier because of the American times? I doubt it. It'll be the announcer for 3 p.m. European time. I can't remember, but yeah, if this ends up being the actual lyrics, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed. Yeah, but enough of that. Let's get back to actually talking about what the song could be and forgetting all that. So, like, obviously Compliance is going to be talking about is probably brought on by the fervor around the last number of years between Matt getting caught up in the Black Lives Matter stuff and all that, and having to go and rescue his guitars and different things, and obviously the pandemic and the right complaining about masks and people complying with all these orders and removing their freedoms, and then everyone else going on about complying themselves and all that and different things. Like, that is clearly going to color this album quite a bit in terms of themes and all that. So what else are you going to call compliance at that stage other than something with that? Like, and it'll probably be like, so, the worry I have for the album is it is going to involve the big unknown entity, and it's going to tread a line more than Muse have done in quite a while in terms of like appealing to all sides of the political spectrum. Now, I know Glenn Beck and his lot tried to co-opt Uprising back in the day, and that was shut down a bit. And whenever Matt was on Alex Jones back in 2006, that was a different time in the world. Whenever, like, Matt only, like, knew Alex Jones's shit through his 9/11 video pieces, and everybody into, like, conspiracy and that was... Well, not everybody, but a good portion of people would have been big at Alex Jones' shit, in terms of like believing that 9/11 was an inside job and being to Alex Jones' stuff. So, like, we're in a very different world from all that shit and where we are now with the right and political conversation and, well, even compliance. So I'm intrigued to see where they go with this. It's tough to ask for some nuance from Matt Bellamy in terms of lyrics. It really is tough. Like you don't go into a Muse album being like, I'm gonna hear about the world from Matt. I mean, I suppose I do remember people that thought like he was a deep a deep lyricist, going back to whenever he was talking about the grand chessboard and all that and other shit. I remember in the boards and all that, but like, nah, mate, his lyrics have never been too deep. You know, they've he reads some interesting things, but like he's just always like skirting the skin, just skimming the surface off what you get with these like actually deep issues in society and all that. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one saying Muse do less because like like whatever he called Trump a clown in the last album and all that. So like they kind of teetered away from that a bit in terms of like not almost not picking a side and just doing this faceless bullshit that they used to do. So like, but we'll see where they go with this. Again, it won't stand down. Like I feel like I know that was being co-opted and you saw people talking about it from like the right and all that because it is the typical thing. But like I'm interested to see like what Matt talks about with the album, where this album goes in terms of that, because like there's so much here. You've got like Liberation as well, which is the next song, which I guess will combine with Compliance now, because like it's another thing that will involve all this political speak, and probably more political speak than Muse have done in an album and song titles in quite a while as well. There's been a lot that's been quite blasé in a lot of their stuff, and like sure you've got stuff like MK Ultra, which like names like the old American government plan of like, was it mind control and that all sort of stuff and different other things with like injections and whatever else. And like since like you had drones obviously, which was like, you know, fucking about like brainwashing a soldier typically in the US military and all that and all this other shit that went down. You're like, you know, but like I feel this is probably like the most, somehow, even despite all that, this is still like the most on the nose Muse have been with like political titles of songs since then. Like, you know, even deeper than Defector and all that in terms of titles and all that. So, and where we are with it being so deep and divided and painful, it's I'm interested to see where they go. It has to. It is intriguing to me, and especially if the album holds up to a standard that won't stand down set that I was even surprised by. I think it could be an interesting album in the current climate and where it goes, and Compliance and Liberation could deal with that. I don't know if any of Matt's like little speech on Instagram is going to be involved with the song. Who knows? It could be, it could not be, but it's tough. It's a tough one to talk about now, because like this is what the album is all about, and this is another reason why I wanted to talk about it now, to get like to at least piece together some of my own thoughts on it ahead of Thursday and how big Compliance is going to be for how the theme of this album is going to roll out, and how the approach that Muse take to this political climate and the toughest years that this generation has faced in terms of mental well-being and general division and war and everything that makes this society tick. To see what Matt does with that is intriguing. If it ends up being an album of just Matt, of just paint by numbers Muse again, and them appealing to all sides and just being this faceless revolting, as in an actual revolt, not like being revolting, although, you know, depending on what you would think about it, it could be revolting in that way too. Resistance style stuff, you know, it could be. Who knows where we go. We'll see where it goes. We will. Like, we already had Won't Stand Down as well already, which I've already talked about. So like I don't know. I don't know. Where like the first four songs are an interesting bunch to go together, and then I guess like having Won't Stand Down at the end of that, like maybe that'll be like a segment. Like if it is ended up like being like almost a concept album of like Muse being like, you know, like this is them fighting back against the bully or whatever, seeing as the song was about bullying, and maybe like tying it into a narrative of you have all this stuff about complying and all that, and then fighting back against the bullies, which which again you can take as like whichever side you want with the way Muse talk about it. But I have hope, but where that's gonna go, and if it all comes crashing down, then it is what it is. So I don't know. I don't know. It's really makes you think. I for some reason Liberation as well sounds like it. Liberation as a title for some reason makes me think a lot of like, again, that seems more uprising to me, and for some it gives me like it's gonna be like another stompy one, but like a real stompy one. I feel like it's gonna be like we're gonna end up with like a Kasabian Empire album thing from that. So it's gonna be like a bit of a mix of, from the title, all I get is like a bit of a mix of like a Panic Station, some Kasabian Empire stuff, and like a Supermassive or something. So it could be a bit poppy, bit pop rocky. It could be like the softest song. I suppose track 3 does end up being like their experimental pop song, or close enough to it, or at least the radio one, or something like that. It's because what you had Supermassive in that slot, you had Panic in that slot, you had it's one that seems to me as they get into the album, like they've set the ground, and then they just like they go in with like a the song that like is the most accessible. So I guess that's what I mean about it. Liberation will probably be the most accessible off the lot, which is pretty weird they're not going with that as one of the singles then, so maybe that will be Compliance, but I don't feel it will be, seeing as I think that maybe with Compliance they'll probably go a bit harder than Won't Stand Down. At least that's how I feel. I want anger, and I want anger with Compliance, and if they do that, then that is cool with me. And I like, after all that political talk and all that, like I do feel it's going to be now like the will of the people stuff, especially if it is the intro. Compliance then is going to be like an angry sounding about the state of the world. Liberation is going to be like trying to big yourself up in an anthemic pop rock thing, an anthem to big yourself up, to then go into the Won't Stand Down, and the final part of that act of like washing away all the fucking assholes, all the bullies, all these fucking cunts that like are like I don't know, against COVID restrictions or like, this is going to my take on it, that you'll end up with that, and then like I think there will be a firm side of it. I'm probably putting too much trust into the bastards at this point, but and then then we move on to Ghost, and how can I move on, because then that title makes it feel like it's gonna, like, in any narrative sense, is gonna have it be, literally it has it in the title. And we all know Muse and Matt are the absolute kings of subtlety, so like moving on, it could be like the focus on dealing with the feelings from the first 4 songs, and like where literally how can I move on, like the trauma of all that stuff. I'm probably giving it too much credit for, especially whenever we get to song 6. Definitely we're giving it too much credit for any possible narrative, but it's nice to build something out of that. It's nice to think that might be where they go, and it might be like a more cohesive album, especially if it ends up being like quite rocky, and not in a drone sense, but like in an actual good album sense, across the board. And it'd be nice to see them like actually do a good narrative album, because they've not really talked about it, have they, in terms of narratives and all that. So like maybe it will be, maybe they will do something, maybe they will hit a mark and hit a spot where they like, again, I feel like Won't Stand Down was like a maturing of Matt's lyrics and dealing with some of their typical Muse fucking typical resistance washing bullshit, where they feel like they're just sitting around the washing machine being like, yeah, we're gonna rebel, and then go back and put on their jeans and be dads and all that shit. Like it feels like there was something more there, and like there was definitely stuff that I haven't felt there since Black Holes, in terms of his lyricism and all that. So it's that's why I have hope, and that's why I'm rolling with this, and that's why I need to have the hope over it, please, God. So yeah, like Ghost feels like it's going to be like a slower one, with it being reflective, probably reflective, likely reflective, even if it's not in terms of a narrative. Like the "how can I move on" makes it sound like it's a reflection on whatever. And the ghost, you got your ghost to the past, and you're focusing back on something. And this could be another point where Matt actually brings up soul again. This is the first. This is one I'm marking down as soul will appear in this song because there's fucking ghosts in the title. Ghosts! How can he not bring up souls whenever he talks about ghosts in the title? He has to bring up souls. He really does. It has to be there. If it's not there, I'm going to be very upset. Really upset. Like, it needs to have souls. Matt needs to bring up souls again. He needs to bring it back to, like, just give that cozy Muse feel, because that's how you move on, is talking about your soul. It's a soul cleansing experience. That's how you reflect. That's how you deal with it, people. That is how you have your reflection and move on. That is how you move on. So this is Matt bearing his soul. If he actually talks about bearing your soul on the chorus, well, I'm quitting right there before I even get to "You Make It Feel Like It's Halloween." But if he is a bit more interested in that, then that is cool. And having it be a situation where it's like a reflection, like maybe it ends up being like a reflection on Muse as a band as well. Maybe it's like a reflection of everything, like where they are, how they got to this point, his own situation throughout COVID and all that. I know he said he was lucky to be cozy and all that, and to like be able to be slow and focus on his life and his family and take things slow and not be like traveling everywhere all the time. I know they had an interview where he talked about that. Like maybe that's where he reflects on things. Maybe that's where this song came from. Is maybe his missed opportunities in life from being part of a touring stuff. And while he knows that he's privileged from what he said in that interview, that maybe he's wondering like where it was different. Maybe we could see that. Maybe it's like the pathways that he did not travel down before in his previous parts of his life. The turning points that he didn't take. It could be a reflection on that, and those are the ghosts that maybe haunt him. We could see something with that as a deep narrative. Maybe this would be like a bit more personal that we get with Matt for a while, from something that isn't just like relationship stuff, and it is like actually a bit more than that in his life. Which would be cool. It'd be nice to see Matt like doing something like that. Because like it's an interesting title with that, because it does make like, if it isn't a narrative, then the title makes it feel very personal, and it would have to be personal to Matt. So seeing that, I'm excited to hear ghosts, even if it ends up like something like Guiding Light or whatever. Like in terms of like just being like a slow, meandering, general, focused thing. That's the easiest way I can explain Guiding Light without going on a long diatribe. But it'd be cool. It'd be interesting to see Matt like do that, and it's definitely. It's probably top 3 of songs that I'm most interested in hearing, on top of Verona and We Are Fucking Fucked. Just because it's such an interesting title for a Muse track, I find. So that's cool. That's my prediction for it. Is a bit of self-reflecting Bellamy, maybe on his life, or just, I don't know, maybe something that happened in COVID. Be cool. Be nice. Be interesting. More interesting than I think than You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween. Oh, where the fuck do I even start with this one? I got my head in my hands right now. I don't even know. I'm lost and confused with no guiding light left inside for this title. I mean, look, are they going to subvert expectations and it's not going to be spooky, or are we going to reach a point where it is spooky? Are we going to get a theremin? Is it going to end up sounding like a more spooky Exopolitics? Is it going to be like a further version of Exopolitics? Is it going to be the sequel to Exopolitics? Is Exopolitics the song that Muse come back and say, yeah, mate, we made a sequel to this song, it's a bit of a follow-on, bit of a callback. So it's You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween. I was talking to someone earlier, mentioned like maybe mask wearing could be involved in it, and that everyone wearing masks over the past 2 years made Matt feel like it's Halloween, and that's what he's thinking of with this song. Which would be a choice. It'd be very much a choice. Do, 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 do. Those things, it might not be the song name in the statement. We are fucking fucked. I don't know. I don't know. I suppose like the Halloween thing wasn't on. Wasn't. I need to look back at the heads. I know because fucking fucked was on, and it was listed in the same sort of color as the other song names. I still think We Are Fucking Fucked is going to be there as a fucking mad song. And especially seeing is being listed as explicit as well. I can see them doing We Are Fucking Fucked. I can. You make me feel like it's Halloween just feels like so left out of left field that like it almost has to be a rib, but I don't know. I guess we'll see in the next week or so. But I can see Muse doing a song that says you make it feel like it's Halloween. Maybe after Fionn mentioned earlier in the Facebook chat about some kind of kick that it's gonna end up being something like that. Their own attempt of a version of that. I don't know. It's a weird track. It's a very weird track. It was Ghost that was the Grand Reset, that was titled as the Grand Reset in the original anagrams. I suppose if it was... yeah, actually, no, go back to Ghost for a second. If that was originally titled the Grand Reset, or had a working title, or they tried to hint was being called the Grand Reset, I suppose that could end up being a reflection as well. I have only read a small bit up on the Grand Reset. I've not like read the whole thing and got like deep into it, but I know like a base level thing, which is pretty much all you need whenever you go through Muse stuff anyway, to be like a deep expert in everything. But yeah, it being titled the Grand Reset really makes me think that it is going to be like some sort of narrative thing, and then that's going to move on, and then like you make me feel like it's Halloween, just like maybe after the reflection. And then you've got your ghost, and you go into like a scared, and if that is a working title and doesn't move on to something else, maybe it is just about like the spook. I don't know. How can you make sense out of you make me feel like it's Halloween? I'm trying to piece it together, but it is impossible. So yeah, we'll go with mask wearing. We'll go with mask wearing as the point of order for that song being a thing. It's weird, man. It's weird. You make me feel like it's Halloween. Like I don't know where it can go other than them going full down the spooky vibe. It'd be cool if they did. Maybe it'll just be like a I'd love a Dance with the Dead style thing. Some actually like you had your like your basic synthwave last time. I would love them to do dark synth and actually do dark synth. Matt trying to do some riffage based around some like slasher movies would be fucking awesome. Having a song based around that would be fucking awesome, and I would be thrilled for You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween to be so fucking on the nose for a dark synth rock song. That would be so fucking cool, and I would buy Matt Bellamy as much milk as he wanted if that happened. I would put down €10 on the table and be like, here lad, go and have like several pints of milk. That's fucking amazing that you guys fucking called it that and did that. Otherwise, where the fuck else is You Make It Feel Like It's Halloween gonna go? Like, you can do some commentary on the world with it, like if you're gonna go, but like it's such a weird title for that. It's such a weird title, and that's what makes me hope it's an instrumental. It makes me hope it's an instrumental. Imagine if it's a Muse song with one of the rare Muse songs, I say one of the rare ones, but like one of the Muse songs anyway, that has the title in the song. Like maybe it's a long fucking ballad that's done in the Christmas style that just has Matt fucking crooning about it being Halloween. Where the fuck is that gonna go? How can you make sense of it? I don't know. We'll find out. It's a few months to go until we find out. I don't know. My expert opinion is meaningless here. I don't know. I'm shaking my head right now. I just don't. Kill or Be Killed though. Assassin part too. It's another. It's the second track. I'm pretty sure it's the second track with the explicit mark on it, isn't it? Bum 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 bum. Yeah, explicit. So it's the second of the explicit tracks. I know it's the track people thought was going to be called "Fuck Off," but "Fuck Off" was only a graffiti over "We are fucking fucked" on the heads in the cover art. But yeah, some sort of assassin thing, except being like more about like just generally fighting and like fighting for that survival. I don't know where it's gonna go with that either. It just feels like it's gonna be like it feels like it's gonna fill that blank of the heavy Muse song that they like to throw in, like maybe like a Blockades or a what do you call it? What's the song I'm trying to think of? Why have I completely forgotten it? Why is my brain? I guess an MK Ultra. There's another song that I was thinking of that has just completely escaped my mind. I can't think of. But yeah, something like that. Maybe maybe a bit more on the moody but like visual journey side of an Animals. Which I think is still their best little extended rock track that they've done in many albums. It'd be cool if it was something like that, and it was another like little reflection piece on where we are in the world and how tribalism and division. Because I'm pretty sure Matt mentioned tribalism in his post about compliance. How like I guess tribalism could end up being a point on this album, a theme running through it as well. So "Kill or Be Killed" could end up being like that. Maybe you make me feel like it's Halloween's going to be about the purge. Maybe that's what we're going to end up being. It's going to be like a purge style thing or something. But "Kill or Be Killed," yeah, just Assassin Part 2. Probably a nice riff. Hopefully a killer riff. Matt swears in it. Maybe we're going to get a Screamo square out of it or something. Maybe like a Won't Stand Down square, because that'll be a bit more guttural with like a fuck or a shit or something in it. I don't know. It'd be nice if Muse swore in a way that wasn't just shouting fuck. Maybe just shout the word cunt at the end, like similar to that Enemy Drunken video where he just goes like can't. Just put that at the end of the song. Be great. There we go, Matt. There's an idea. Even if you haven't done that already, go and record that now and just stick it on the end. Try and make it sound as natural as possible, or just make it sound like you literally just tacked it on in 5 seconds in the end without even mixing it in properly. Works for me. Say the word cunt on an album, please. Thank you. Verona, meaning truth. So again, following through like that dynamic is probably going to go down the meaning of truth. They could end up trying to tie truth in with the with like the tribalism involved with Romeo and Juliet. If we're going to go down the tribalism route now that I've got it on my mind after thinking of it in that last thing. So you know, you got Romeo and Juliet, the warring factions. You got the warring factions of the world, and how tribalism ended up to them getting killed and young love dying that day and everything else in horrific circumstances. And it sounds like a Muse thing that they do. Maybe this will be like the Resistance of the album. Disappointing if it is, if it's towards the end. But maybe it's like a rockier version of Resistance. Maybe it's a sequel to Resistance. Maybe it's the song, not the album. Maybe I feel like it's going to be like a bit of a bit more of a chilled Muse rock song, like maybe like a darker time is running out, with a sad chorus that sounds a bit more uplifting, edging towards like a Guiding Light or something in terms of vocal range, is what comes to me from thinking of that, of the title name and what it means and what it could mean and how they could link the actual meaning with Romeo and Juliet together. You know, like that'd be interesting. That'd be a cool little ditty that they have. I don't know. That's about it. What else can you say about a track called Verona? Euphoria is literally going to be a cover off that Eurovision song. Nah, it's. I'm going to say Euphoria is going to be like Hoodoo. It's going to be like the chilled out part before We Are Fucking Fucked just goes absolute batshit onto that in a second. But Euphoria is going to be like just, I don't know. Euphoria to me, in terms of a Muse track and where Matt would take it and why he would call it Euphoria, would be arrogant sense of victory and the joy you'd get from that. Maybe like resting your laurels and somehow getting fucked in the end. That you're if we're following the narrative, euphoria would be the point where you think you've got the victory, but then something bad happens, and then at least we are fucking fucked. So we're going to end up with something hoodoo. The lyrics are maybe talking about like bigging the whoever up, if there is a protagonist, or like just bigging the ideas up before, like maybe towards the end of the song, there is a reflection that happens that drags down the mood, that kills the mood, and leads us into we are fucking fucked. So with Euphoria, then we end up with that situation of like a chilled out hoodoo style thing. Before like maybe like the middle section ends up being like hoodoo. So I fully reckon this will end up being like a full hoodoo thing. And we get like a big deep cut in the middle of despair that leads to like just full bleak darkness at the end, and then we are fucking fucked. It's just a bunch of screamo, absolute fucking mad shite. The absolute most batshit insane. Well, either Matt, but probably even Dom. Just the vocals are all Dom, and we are fucking fucked. And he's just screaming in the background, just screaming "fuck" in the most upset ways. And it's just guitars, distortion, execution commentary part 2. Absolute just fucking bombs going off everywhere. The bowels of hell have opened up and demons have crawled out and they're eating your neighbor's eyeballs, and it's just the world is fucking ending and we've all lost, so we are fucking fucked. So this album is going to be about finding that hope in yourself and then realize it's all fucking meaningless because we're fucking fucked as a society and it's a mess. That's where I think Matt is going to go with this. This is where I really do think Matt is going to go with this, and how it's going to end up, and how the trail of songs will actually have some sort of narrative going through it, whether it's cohesive or not, and ending in that. A bit more I mean, as long as Will of the People isn't in the background all the time, like on drones, hopefully, like, they've learned their lesson and don't just, like, if they want to do, like, a full thematic thing, that they don't go crazy talking about that all the time, but or just having that chat in the background. But I can see it being that way, that you've got your anger at the beginning, you've got your reflection on the anger after you've dealt with it, and then you move on from there to just realizing that things are getting fucked again, but you like come out on top of whatever battle you have until the end, whenever everything falls apart beside you and you all crumble to being absolutely fucked, as the last song says. That's the only way I can see it going. That is absolutely positively the only way I see this album going. And I'm excited. I'm very excited. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be cool. Hey there, Luca. How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I really am excited. Because, like, it feels like this album, like, more than ever with Muse, is going to be one or the other for being on the edge of madness in the best and worst ways possible. Maybe all at the same time. And I'm excited to see where that goes. I am. That's pretty much all I can say on it now. That's my deep cut. I just needed to spend some time doing something. So that's that. That's me bullshitting done for how long now? Like about Jesus, almost an hour again, right? Well, yeah. 45 minutes probably at least. So yeah, Muse. Fucking batshit. I fucking hope it doesn't end up being as bad as my worst fears have, but I'm still gonna try and be positive. I have to be positive, and I probably should be positive. It won't stand down. We'll see. It's not like Matt has ever let me down before, has he? Yeah, boy.